with me. You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones, I'm coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones, I'm coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes. I take shots to the top, I'll get it, I got this is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back, cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, y'all. Happy Thursday, September 18th, T-19 for GameStop. Welcome back. We are at $26.15, mostly flat on the day today. Here is the minute chart for GameStop. And on the daily, you guys know I wanted to see GameStop close this week with, at least by Friday, I'd like to still be above the 200 moving average so that we have a chance of some bullish momentum into next week. It is looking good still here. Looking at the daily chart, I'm zooming in slowly here for you guys. We had a close on Tuesday above the 200, closed yesterday, Wednesday above the 200. It looks like we will again today. That 200 MA on the daily chart at $25.93, unless they smack us down. And my hope, my belief is that there will continue to be some bullish momentum in GameStop up until the warrant distribution date, which is October 7th. I don't know if we'll get to 32 or not by then, but I think there is more bullish momentum going up to that event date than there will be bears trying to smack it down. No guarantees, no promises. That is just my opinion, and we will have to all watch it together. In today's video, besides answering your questions, just hanging out, having a good time, I wanted to talk briefly with you about this no early exercise theorem. Oh man, this is going to rock some heads. It's going to rock some worlds. It's going to make some of y'all really angry. And I don't know what to tell you. Like, I like to teach you guys basics of finance, things that are tangible, things that are well known, things you could learn in a business school. My degree is in economics. I took finance and accounting and all that shit. I didn't work on Wall Street. I don't know everything, but I do think it is important for you guys to learn the little things that you don't know, because there is certainly not any pumper channels, no social media channels that believe in GameStop like I do, that there is some upward, momentum possibility here. Those people don't want to talk to you about education. They want to talk to you about the pump. And that's fine. I mean, we need them. But I think that the people that will have the best success in capturing profits are the ones who are hungry for understanding, hungry for knowledge, hungry for understanding how institutions are thinking. Because like it or not, this stock has a lot of institutional owners, not only in the shares, but in the convertible bonds. And what else is happening? The convertible bondholders are getting warrants. So you should be hungry to learn How are these guys applying rational finance math into their models, into their algorithms? And everything that we're going to talk about today is things you can go put it in Grok, put it in ChatGPT, talk to your accountant, talk to your CFA buddies, anyone besides the pumpers who don't want you to know this stuff. Go ask them, should warrants be exercised early? What is the no early exercise theorem? What is this shill Tony DeNaro talking about? I'm not a shill. I want you guys to learn. And what happens? Are there exceptions to rules? There's always the possibility of exceptions. But I'm going to submit to you that the possibility of this rule having an exception would be rare. And I'll kind of walk you through the math over the next hour. There will certainly be, if the price goes up over $32, there will certainly be retail traders exercising early because they want those shares. They'll tell you they don't care about profits. They don't care about the optimal choice. They don't care about the optimal way to protect their account. They want the shares. I'm going to say, if you want the shares, why aren't you buying today at $26? Why are you waiting for $32? What is wrong? What is wrong with you? If you're saving up money to buy shares at $32, what is wrong with you? Why aren't you buying right now? What's the rational answer to that? Now I'm going to tell you what got me spun up on this topic. There are certain YouTubers, certain social media accounts pushing this narrative that, oh boy, just imagine the date in the next 12 months when GameStop puts out a press release that all 59 million warrants have been exercised and they collected $1.9 billion. But thousands of you, tens of thousands, millions of you still have warrants in your account. What are they going to say then? I would submit to you that day will never come. I'm saying it in public so you can laugh at me if I'm wrong. I don't say things that I think I'm going to be wrong on. I hate being wrong. But assuming that the expiration of these GameStop warrants is October 30th, 2026, I haven't seen the official warrant document. There might be a provision for an early expiration. Some companies do that, but they didn't mention it in their FAQ, I don't think. But it doesn't matter. Let's just say whatever the expiration date is, whether it's an early one announced by GameStop or October 30th, they'll send out a notice 30 days before saying, hey, get your warrants. If you want to exercise them, now is the time. And on the last day, poof, they're all going to be gone. And then they will issue a press release that the warrant exercises are complete. Very, very unlikely that all 59 million are going to be exercised early, and GameStop's going to issue a press release, and then millions of you are going to still say, well, what about the ones that... No, it's not going to go down that way. Why? How can I say that with certainty? Because of finance math. Because institutions will act rationally following math, not irrational. That doesn't mean that you're crazy if you want to exercise early. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm saying that for optimal optimization of profits, exercising early is generally not going to be the optimal outcome. And I will explain the why when a few more people get in here. John says, hey, John Y, good afternoon. He says, Tony, say it, GME to 100 by 2026. I hope so, John. I mean, I try, you guys know me, you've been following me for a long time. I try not to give, especially on speculative tickers, dates, and I don't try to give you guys price targets. Because, number one, outcomes are speculative. Never underestimate retail's ability to run things up. Anything could happen. It could happen, John. But I like to talk about my price targets on value stocks. Any ticker where I can tie earnings to a PE ratio in the expected future earnings to a PE ratio, a reasonable price target that I can back up with finance math. I'm happy to do that. I'm even happy to do that with GameStop. And I have a video coming up where we will run new expectations for GameStop based on Q2 results and expectations for Q3 and Q4. How have my models changed, and what is my price target for GameStop based on those models? I will have a video coming out in the next few days on that. But that is a separate discussion than whatever speculative stuff that we hope for in these short squeeze tickers or retail momentum tickers, whatever you want to call them. Literally anything could happen. I don't try and predict that stuff because I think it is unfair and sets up some bad precedents where people gamble on options and then things don't work out. If you want to gamble on options, do your thing. I don't like people coming back and trying to say, you told us it was going to 100 next week. Rockets incoming. Not me. No, that wasn't me. I'll be right there rooting for you, with you. I'm long the stock, but I'm not going to give you those kind of price targets. 2161 was my buy-in back in June. You can see on the chart here. I had another buy-in at 2125 in April, but I sold up here at 33 bucks in May and then waited for it to come back down and rebought. So I'm happy where we're at. GameStop's got a great cash position right now. The addition of these warrants is adding a little bit of FOMO froth to the trade. I like that. There's a decent floor in the stock here around this demand zone. So I'm okay holding, seeing what develops. And if I decide to exit the position on any run up, then we will talk about that when that day comes. Richie Rich, what is up? He says, look at open interest of GameStop. I believe that takes the price. Open interest. What are we talking about on the call options, Richie? Production Crew with the K. How you doing? Are you in Louisiana by chance? Chris's Concert Corner says, I've heard someone propose letting the warrants expire altogether, and that would be less dilutive. That doesn't sound like a great plan to me either, Chris. If your warrants have value on the day before expiration date, you should either sell them or exercise them. Let's say it's expiration date -1. There will be no more time value. Your warrant value will be the intrinsic value if it's over 32 bucks. If GameStop's at 33, your warrant will be worth $1. So it doesn't matter at that point. Sell the warrant or exercise it. But just let it expire and let money that was given to you by the company, a dividend, just let that expire. I mean, go in the backyard and start burning dollar bills right now. Why would you do that? Because it's going to be less dilutive. GameStop's trying to raise money. They want your participation. They want you to exercise the warrants. They're trying to raise money. I mean, if you want to penalize them, go ahead. Let it expire. Don't give them your 32 bucks. Don't take any profit on top of that. Roaring Lion says the MOAS will happen after the Bank of Japan starts to raise rates. All right. Roaring Lion says I will be selling his. He says he'll be selling his warrants when he's deep in the money. I noticed you said they're selling your warrants, not exercising. I like the cut of your jib there, Roaring Lion. If that is what you meant, you're on the right track. T-Nor says GameStop's going to end the day at $25.98. As per usual, we did slip down into the red. God dang it. What do we got? 45 minutes left. 45 minutes left on this day. We've been going here for 15 minutes now. Let's get into the meat of this discussion, the no early exercise theorem. But before we do that, I want to check on Tesla here real quick. Down 1% today. And our little favorite AI stock that we're waiting on news, Railtown down 4% today. Well, that's a bummer. Waiting on news. All right. What can I put up here to draw on? Let's see if this works. All right, we're going to be talking about our warrants. And you guys know what extrinsic and intrinsic value is, right? Intrinsic value would be, can y'all see this okay? Your stock price minus the exercise price, which we'll call K. So if the stock is trading at 50 bucks, just picking a number, and our exercise price is 32, then if you exercised, you'd be capturing $18 in profit. You're going to spend 32 bucks. You've got a share worth $50. You have captured $18 profit. What you do with it after that is not part of today's discussion because I don't know what the stock price does after 50. But if we're looking, well, maybe we'll get into that in just a minute. Why it doesn't even matter what happens after that. But if we're looking at the warrant value, then we have to factor in more than just intrinsic value. Our warrant value is always going to be greater than S minus K. Why is that? Because warrants have time value added to the intrinsic value. That means that on the day that you decide to exercise at 32 bucks, when GameStop is at 50, you want to capture $18. Someone's holding a warrant that's worth, I don't know, 21. And he sells his warrant instead of exercise. Who came out better here? This is exercise. This is sell the warrant. Who came out better? Now, what the pumper channels will tell you is, Tony, we don't care about profits. We don't care about 18 versus 21. We just want the shares. Okay, that is perfectly fine with me. In your little pumper world, that is a perfectly acceptable decision. We call that irrational decisions. What I submit to you guys is that the institutions that own GameStop stock and GameStop warrants are not irrational. They are going to follow rational finance math. And if they're sitting there thinking GameStop is peaking out at 50, or even if they think GameStop is going to run on to 100, if they're making a decision that day to exercise or sell the warrant, they're going to sell the warrant all day long because it maximizes the price differential. It maximizes the profit. All the way up until very close to expiration of the warrants, at which point that time component has shrunk to basically zero. And just to draw a dotted line to another concept we've talked about here for many, many months, very similar reason why convertible bondholders will not exercise convertible bonds early. If this is starting to make sense to you, what I'm talking about, it's the same reason I'm telling you that the convertible bondholders will not exercise GameStop convertible bonds early, because they have a call option feature in the convertible bond that will have time value above and beyond the value of the bond or the stock underpinning it, all the way until the bonds mature. This is a basic concept of finance. It's going to be one there's going to be wailing, howling, gnashing of teeth by the pumper YouTubers telling you this doesn't make sense. They don't want you to learn. They don't want you to be educated. They don't want you to understand how institutional traders think. They don't want you to understand finance math. They need you on the pumper narrative. If you're not on their train, they don't want nothing to do with it. I personally do not care what you do with your warrants, whether you exercise them, whether you sell them, whether you let them expire. I don't care. But there are people putting out this narrative that all the warrants are going to be exercised early. No, I will stake my reputation to the point where you can come back and we'll have a laughing session if all the institutions exercise early. I'll let y'all come back here and laugh at me. Where is the evidence of that happening ever in the history of ever? There's other companies that have issued warrant dividends. Go find me the evidence. I've looked at 7 of them in the last 5 years. The ones that finished up early was because the company had built in a early expiration provision into the warrant agreement. At some point, if the stock price is over X price for 20 days of the last 30, then we can force you to exercise early. We can force them to expire early. Some companies have a forced early expiration where they tell you, we told you it was going to be a year from now, but now it's going to be in 30 days. You have a 30-day warning. If you don't exercise now, your warrants will expire. And again, even in those cases, typically not all of the warrants were submitted for redemption. Just like these people type stuff on social media that is completely fabricated in their head because they need to believe it. They need you to believe it, that there's going to be millions of fake warrants, even after GameStop announces that the warrants have all been submitted. They need you to believe something they have no evidence of. And you guys know who these people are. They say these fables, these stories, these lies over and over for the last 4 years, hadn't been damn right on one of them. Again, it doesn't mean GameStop won't run up, can't run up. It certainly could. It doesn't change the math. Doesn't change the math in this example. I'm not telling you what is going to happen to the price of the stock or the price of the warrants. There's going to be volatility. I hope GameStop has some good news. I hope the price runs up. The warrants will always be worth more than exercising under any condition. On the day that you're looking at, do I exercise or do I sell? The warrants will always be worth more than exercising. That is a theorem. It is proven math. So fire your bullets now. I do this because I love you. I put myself on the cross. I get on that horse and head out into the desert by myself so the Indians can shoot me in the back with all the arrows. Because I actually care about you guys learning the way institutions are looking at this, the way everybody on Wall Street was trained in school by reality, in practice, in warrants, in options, in bonds. This theorem holds true. The only people who will dispute this theorem will have to, they'll pull that rabbit out of the hat. Well, Tony, you just don't understand. GameStop is different. No. I'm going to have to wait till October 2026 to have the, see, we tried to help you a year ago. We'll have that discussion then. I'm going to get a lot of arrows and hate for the next year, but better you guys understand this now. And I'll take all the hate they can dish out till then. Believe me, I'm well used to it now. I'm trying to teach people that want to come along kicking and screaming or don't want to come along. I don't want to learn, Tony. Just tell me what I want to hear. Again, hear me with all the love in my heart. I'm not putting a cap on how high GameStop could go. I'm just saying it doesn't matter. Not all the institutions are going to exercise early. It doesn't matter how high GameStop goes. If they want to collect the profits, they'll sell the warrants because they make more money. UK Dave says GameStop and AMC are being pushed down in sync, not the basket. Dave, don't hurt our baskets. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah, look at that. They sure are, Dave. At least here in the last 20 minutes. I don't want to make people mad, Dave. I was gonna do the old AMC and GameStop brothers and sisters in arms, like our friend Richie used to say, Richie Lavoie. I do think there's some basket trading of these meme stocks going on out there, but let's just compare to the SPY also, Richie, just to see. No, the SPY did not get spanked like that. They hate meme stock traders today, Richie. Or who was that? Dave, sorry. It's because I'm live, yeah. Well, you know, I have one simple hope, Dave, and that hope is that GameStop ends the week above the daily 200 moving average. And I think there's a good shot that could happen. Let's see for our folks that are trading options. I'm just curious. We were looking at it live yesterday. They were getting slaughtered on the short-term call options. How's it looking today? We got the 19th close to the money. Oh my gosh. Just getting slaughtered down 50%. I have no call options on GameStop, by the way. Down 40% on next week. 2030. Ay, ay, ay. Well, if I was drinking, I'd pour one out for you, homies. And I will say my prayers for you that we get a big run up tomorrow. What other questions y'all got? I'm just about done with the comparison video. Like I said, I've been looking at other companies over the last 5 years that have issued warrants as a dividend. Just, it's a thought exercise. These companies, when you see this video, keep in mind, these companies are not GameStop. They don't have the same financials. They don't have the same terms on the warrants. But I think it's interesting for us to see how the stock performed relative to the warrant issuance date and what happened after that. Spoiler alert, some of the companies went bankrupt. That's not going to happen with GameStop, which is why I started out by saying not all the companies are like GameStop. GameStop's not going bankrupt. But it's still interesting to see what happened with these tickers around the announcement date of the warrant. What happened to these tickers around the distribution date? And then what happened in the time after that? I'm not going to compare really any of them in particular to GameStop. I'm just going to give you guys some, those of you that like researching data like I do, some tickers to look at. It's not easy to find all of these tickers. And thank you to my folks in the Discord that helped make sure I had a good list, because my initial search did not come up with everything that they found. Cordero Cavazos, he says, have you guys seen the volume on Snap? I have not looked at Snap recently. Snap-roni. 170 million. Volume has been increasing daily since end of August. I mean, looks pretty good, Cordero. Trying to fill that gap back up to the upside. Man, you should have told us when it was at 690. Let's see what Dave has to say about AMC. He says, if AMC gets approval for more shares to be issued later this year, proxy in October, vote in December, could they then do the same thing as GameStop with warrants? I don't believe so, Dave, because AMC has debt covenants that prohibit dividends, which I believe would prohibit a warrant dividend. It's a distribution of value. Could they get an exception? I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible. I would call it highly improbable that the AMC would do that. However, I wouldn't be against it if they picked a price target higher than the current price and said, hey, if you can pump it up to $5, we'll raise money up there. I wouldn't be opposed to that if they could figure out a way to do it. Richie says, to me, open interest on call options indicates how many shares a market maker may have to provide. I see where you're going with that, Richie. High values of open interest, more shares needed. It's possible. It could also be any institution or convertible bondholder doing hedging for shares that they own. Could be somebody who's short doing hedging. I mean, I have no way of knowing any definitive answer about why open interest is what it is. but there are a multitude of reasons I could think of. I mostly, and some of it could be market maker hedging. Although I would think, if a market maker is filling demand either on the buy side or sell side of options, wouldn't they hedge with shares, Richie? I mean, if you're a market maker and your people are clamoring to buy call options and you're selling them call options, you've got to then immediately go in and start hedging by buying shares. And then as you approach expiration, as the market maker, you're going to unload those shares, assuming the price didn't move, because you don't need to maintain that hedge as time is running out. You know how we always see that collapse of the price on Fridays when certain strikes don't hit? That's just a hedge unwind. Richie Rich says, would they want the closing price below the high value? I think so, Richie. I know some people disagree that, what do we freaking call that? The, dang it. That optimal price where they want it to close, where the maximum puts and calls expire. Yeah, Max Payne, thank you. I was having a senior moment. I believe that Max Payne is a thing. I know not everybody agrees with that. That's okay. I'm not trying to convince you it is. I've seen it be a thing more often than not. And I like to use the kind of like the concept that they try and steer it as best they can to close at max pain. They're not always successful. Really depends on the traders. But if they can steer it to max pain, they will. It also might have to do with like how much of that open interest is on the books of a market maker who sold, who was making a market versus just regular traders. Like if you're a market maker and you don't really have anything on the books because you're just facilitating trades between other parties, maybe you don't care what max pain is that week. You know what I mean? Maybe the institution who has in or out of the money options might care. They might try and steer at them. I don't know. These are only theories I have. I've never worked at a market maker to know how true any of them are or not. Certainly have seen people argue both sides. And that is another thing. Thank you, Sparky, for reminding me. I was thinking of that when I started reading Richie's comment. The other thing to keep in mind, Sparky says 90%. My research says 70 to 80%, but let's go with Sparky's number. 70 to 90% of options are closed out before expiration or expire worthless. So even if there is high open interest going into a Friday, there's a good chance that many of those options will be closed out. Take the opposite trade, close it out. Not everybody's trying to hold through expiration and then get the shares. Yeah, Sparky talking about hedging by buying on different dates. There's so many layers to things that we don't even think about, Sparky, but you're right. Did you get a chance, Sparky, to hear the beginning of this conversation where we went through the math, the no early exercise theorem? And I for those of you just joining in, the top half here, if you're sitting at a day where GameStop's at 50 and you're looking at exercising versus selling the warrant, the warrant is always going to be worth more than exercising. So you're going to have to tell me that you don't care about profit. You just want shares, even if you're leaving money on the table. And I will tell you that's fine. That's your choice. That's what we would call irrational market behavior. Doesn't mean it's wrong for you. You do whatever you want. I'm going to submit to you guys in this video that the institutions that own convertible bonds and shares will not act, or almost certainly not likely to act irrationally. They're going to go with the trade that maximizes profits, which would be sell the warrant. So why do I say this? Because people are telling you that 59 million warrants are going to be exercised by March. GameStop's going to issue a press release saying 1.9 billion raised, and then millions of you are still going to have warrants. No, that will not happen. I'm telling you now, that will not happen. Just pumper, grifter, social media engagement nonsense. There are going to be smart people that just sell the warrant. I mean, I guess maybe eventually, institutions sell them all to retail. Institutions lock in the maximum profits while retail gobbles them up and then exercises for a lower profit. Could that happen? Yeah, but you're still not going to have any warrants left at the end of the day. Yeah, Dink, I'm not factoring in tax into the decision. But yes, I mean, if you're looking at short-term versus long-term tax consequences, that could. This is why I'm not giving you any specific advice. I'm talking about a theorem that applies to options, warrants, and bonds. What is right for you and how taxes might impact your ultimate decision is a personal thing that you need to talk with your tax preparation, your tax consultant. Talk with him about that. We're discussing a theorem of how institutional traders are likely to be looking at this math. Yeah, he set it up, Dink, where even, let's see, they're going to be issued on October 7th and they don't expire till October 30th. I don't think that was by accident, because when I look at all of the other examples that, you and I have been discussing, the other companies over the last 5 years, most of them have the warrant expiration date exactly 1, 2, 5 years to the day after the warrants were issued. GameStop added 23 days. I bet that might be an opportunity to give people a chance to get in long-term gain status for those warrants. What do you think? You think he was thinking about that? Because they could have just said they expire on October 7th, 2026. And then no matter what you do, you're in short-term gains. But yeah, I think he did everybody a solid by giving you 23 more days to get into long-term tax status. And you, again, should be thinking about that as you're deciding what to do over the next year. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of the little guys. We appreciate it. Sparky says, I just jumped on, but as long as there is time value in options, warrants, bonds, I added to your comment. Nobody should exercise. They should sell the warrant and take the cash to buy shares if that's what they want. Exactly. Imagine, guys, imagine in our example that GameStop's at $50 and you decide to send GameStop your $32 so that you can be on paper $18 ahead. There's going to be YouTubers that tell you to do that. Meanwhile, we're going to be over here selling our warrants for $21. We'll still go buy the shares for $32, but we made $3 more. Again, I ask you, why are you exercising early versus selling the warrant to maximize your profit? Why is this? Why are so many people not talking about this? I don't get it. You don't understand, Tony. We'll lose money to give Ryan $32. It's not about the profits for us. All right, that's cool. That is perfectly fine with me. Thank you for your sacrifice. Stormy shots and slots. He said Raya is spiking. What do we got here? Yeah, that is a nice little run. 33% on the day. Look at that. Was there news today around lunchtime? Nope. Tread with caution. 5-cent stock. We don't usually talk penny stocks here, Stormy, but good luck to you. It's fine to have momentum plays. That's a fantastic momentum chart. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But you guys better know what you're doing if you're trading momentum swings. The biggest problem I see is people not taking profits on momentum swing trades. What do we got here? 13 minutes left. GameStop down only 14 cents for the day. Tesla down 1.5%. Lyft down 4% today. I need to refill my liquid refreshment here. That's the last bit of cold coffee. That is the worst, right? Black coffee, when it's hot, it's fine. That last little bit where it has become room temperature, not good. Open down 2% today. GNS, look at her, up 4%. Someone tweeted on Genius Group, I just know that as we look ahead, the float is going to be reduced. The CEO is going to buy 1 million shares back in the next couple of weeks, he promises. And I tweeted back, what about the 50 million shares that are about to hit shares outstanding from the ERL acquisition, bringing that back in? That's going to increase the float 40%. You think 1 million shares bought back by the CEO is going to offset 50 million increase in the shares outstanding? You don't want to talk about that? What? He didn't answer me. Or he didn't answer the S1 where they have the ability to sell another 1 billion shares. But he's convinced, guys, that the float is only going down. I've been waiting 24 hours now for him to share his thoughts. They'll probably just block me and call me names. Movie theaters all in the red except Dolby, trying to stay in the green today. Let's see gold and silver as we kind of wrap up our day here. Down on our gold basket, GDXJ. Silver basket, these are junior miners, also down almost 1%. Hycroft is down 5% today. And the silver ETF, SLV, up, or the silver trust, up 0.4%. Hycroft getting smacked down after a little bit of bullish momentum here to 675. It's pulled back $1. Congrats if you locked in some of that gain. It's coming back down into this supply zone. But we're going to, oh man, they're trying to spank GameStop here at the end of the day. You bastards. Bastards. What is an Ember Cup? I had to see if you're setting me up. I'm going to get some more water real quick. Not more water. I'm going to get some water. Be right back. Give me 15 seconds here. An Ember Cup keeps the coffee hot. I like that idea. I never thought about that. Generally, I'm finishing it before it gets cold, but because I'm sitting here talking to you guys, I forgot that was over there. All right, we got some nice ice cold water. GameStop 25.85. All right, down 1% now. We got 8 minutes left. Do you guys, anybody, have any questions? Disagreement? Did I hurt your feelings? Did I make you mad? Are you happy? You watched this live stream talking about the no early exercise. No early exercise. Does this make sense? Do I need to explain it a better way? Again, this is not specific advice on what you should do. We're talking about how I think that the institutions are going to be looking at it, because this is basic finance math. And all I want to do is expose you guys to how they think, because no pumper channel is going to tell you this stuff. Doesn't even matter, really. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to you what institutions are doing, whether they exercise or sell the warrants. Who the fuck cares? Why am I talking about it? Because the grifter accounts are saying that somehow 59 million shares are going to be exercised early, and then GameStop's going to put out a press release, and then we'll find out millions of us still have warrants in our account. That is not going to happen. But if they have evidence of it ever happening, please send it my way. I'd love to add a little more detail to the video I'm about to drop, showing you guys the last 5 years. I'd love to find the one where the company announced the warrants were coming to a conclusion and investors were clamoring, but wait, you said it's done and I still got warrants. Maybe I missed that one. If you know of it, please let me know, because the GameStop people swear it's going to happen. Based on what, I say? Based on what? How many days? We got 19 calendar days left, Wendell. Let me pull up my little calendar here. 19 calendar days left until October 7th. We have 2 weeks and a day until the ex-dividend date, which is 2 Fridays from tomorrow. I think that, the next 2 weeks are going to be interesting. I'm hopeful that I'm correct, that it will be mostly bullish up until the 3rd or 7th, that Friday or Monday. I don't have any guarantees or promises for you guys. That is just my best guess, is that FOMO and high retail optimism is going to be more bullish for the price over the next 2 weeks than not. And I guess we'll see how incentivized the hedge fucks are to push the price back down if we run it up too much. I guess we'll find out. Chris says, my son and I saw Casey Donahue and Trace Adkins last night in OKC at the State Fair. What a fine pair of singers. Chris, I love when rodeo comes here to Austin. It's like 10 days, and at least usually 7 of those. Every night they have about a 1 hour to 90-minute concert, usually pretty reasonable tickets. And we'll go see especially the classic singers. I think we saw Trace Adkins in the last year or two at the rodeo here. He must be doing the rodeo and State Fair circuit. John Party. I love John Party. I was just listening to a new singer. God, I wish I could remember his name. I'll mention it, Chris, if I hear him on the radio again. And the dude sounded like John Party. My wife loves John Party. I mean, there's all of our music when it comes to country. She's younger than me, but she grew up listening to 80s and 90s country music. So she appreciates all the good old stuff and the current singers. But we like John Party because all the songs are so easy to dance to. And they're fun songs. They're just fun songs. That was how we met, actually, country dancing, all those years ago, when I was still young. 2 minutes, 25:88. Yeah, Chris, if John Party is playing, don't miss it, man. Don't miss it. The one concert that I missed in my life that I regret not going was Selena. Had a chance to go. Didn't go. And then what? March 30th. Fucking Yolanda. If you got a chance to see your favorite singer live in your town, don't miss it, because you never know what's going to happen in life. One minute warning. All right, that is the bell. Yeah, we love Selena, Chris. Her music, how I don't even. Now I guess I can think of two shootings that really broke me down for a long time. When Selena got shot, and now we got Charlie. Some things take a long time to heal from. Dink, why do you think I hate my money? What are you getting at? What did I say, Dink? You know I don't hate my money, so what angle are you going after here? Before we hang up here, it's 3:01. I want to see if we got any Railtown news. You think I hate my money because I bought some Railtown, Dink? Still nothing. God dang it. Sparky says, if somebody sells a call they don't want to exercise, they buy it back to close. Happens all the time. 70 to 90% settle for cash. I think a lot of people, Sparky, just fail to consider how many options simply don't ride all the way to expiration. Every time you've seen it, Sparky. Every time any stock starts running, people go look at the open interest, and that's 40 million shares they've got to come up with. No. That's 37 million that are going to be closed before expiration, is what I think. There'll be a few people, that have a long-term plan. Maybe they want to accumulate shares, but mostly not. All right, 25.88. We're back to even from the close. I'm going to finish up this video for you guys with the 7 other companies we were able to find that did warrant dividends over the last 5 years. So if you're just curious, again, this doesn't mean that any of them have anything to do with GameStop. But it is interesting to look at how did others react from the time they were announced, the time they were distributed, and the time to expiration. I think it's some good data points, and I'm not using any of them to make any predictions about GameStop because none of them are GameStop. But it'll be interesting to see when this is all done how GameStop did compared to the set of other examples that we have out there. This is not a common thing. Issuing warrants as dividend, not common at all. So I certainly don't know what's going to happen. I do know that GameStop's got almost $9 billion in cash. And I do think that Ryan Cohen has a plan for that cash. And now we also know that the company's on a trend towards operational profits. I mean, the setup is there for Ryan to drop some good news. I like it. I like the stock. With that being said, let's do a little bit of a green candle up, a red candle down, buy the dip, hold your ground.
A green candle up, a red candle down, buy the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. Green candle up and red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. GameStop's rising, going strong. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, show you care. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long.